Hello. Hello. What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and this is my 31 days of horror movie reviews. And I decided to rewatch this movie because apparently there's a couple more entries in this franchise, I guess you can call it, and I was not aware of this fact. And I did a review for the first one, or at least the remake, years and years ago. I never did a review on this one, though. I'm talking about I Spit on Your Grave 2. This is a sequel to the remake of I Spit on Your Grave, and this one came out in 2013. It is directed by Stephen R. Monroe, the same guy who did the remake. And the plot is we meet Katie, who's this girl that gets almost recruited, I guess you could say, by this guy who's offering her to take pictures for a potential modeling gig. And she wants to be a model, like this is very appealing to her, so she decides to take him up on this offer. But he wants to bring her to this very sketchy area, just like, oh hey, yeah, we'll just take pictures, no big deal. Of course, this is all a trap, though. She gets taken, she gets kidnapped, and she gets smuggled into another country. She gets tied up and just locked away in this basement, and she gets raped over and over and over again by various different people at this area. And it is, the first I Spit on Your Grave movie that I watched, the remake, that was hard to watch for many reasons. Obviously, seeing a character be abused, physically abused, sexually abused for almost an hour is rough. It's rough to watch if you're a normal human being and not a sadist in any way, right? This movie, though, it's almost even worse because this girl, I don't know, it's worse to see everything that happens to her. She's left for dead. She comes back, though, for revenge. So the last half of the movie is her killing some dudes in some brutal and hardcore ways. Now, I can't say I enjoyed this movie. I can't. Because I never want to rewatch this ever again. It's one of those movies that I can say I've watched once and I can go on for the rest of my life saying, I don't want to own this. I don't want to watch this again. I don't want to experience this again. This is gross. This is BR oodle. I know that when you look at it, like if I'm going to compare the girls, because it's a different girl, completely different character, I don't think it's necessarily connected to the first movie, not in any obvious way, probably in the same world, but still. This girl, you could say, is dumber than the girl in the first movie. At least the girl in the first movie, she was out in her own cabin in the woods. She was a writer, and so that was the reason why she was on her own by herself, and then stuff happens to her. Where this girl, you could say, put herself in a very bad situation. And yes, I would agree that, man, she should not have gone with this guy. She should not have gone to this area by herself, alone. Very sketchy right from the get-go. But my own mother, told me a story how before I was even born, she was in her early 20s, and similar, almost to the T, similar situation. This guy came up to her and said, hey, you're beautiful. I want to take pictures of you, and potentially modeling pictures. And she went, okay. And she went to his fucking house and let him take pictures of her. Now, luckily, he apparently just drove her back to the train station and dropped her off, and she went on her way, and then a few weeks later got the pictures. So, thankfully, that was on the up and up. Thankfully, it was legit, and she got her pictures, and she didn't die. But can you imagine how many times this probably has happened to women or anyone, really, and bad things happen, right? So I'm sure the situation is very realistic, is very that's why it's hard to watch, honestly. I think horror movies are more effective, more scary, and get to me more, get under my skin more when it's more realistic. You know, I'm starting to get sick of these ghosts and these demons and possessions and blah 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 hauntings. Like, I've seen it a million times. It's the real life stuff, the realistic stuff that get to me, that do a number on me. This actress that plays Katie, Gemma DeLundy, she's good. I mean, she's very petite. She's very small, so it makes it that much harder to see what happens to her. But it's kind of cool to see her fight back when she does fight back, and she goes and she's killing these dudes and she's being creative with it. I'm so conflicted on talking about this movie, giving my opinions on this movie, because, you know, I can't say I enjoy it. I can't say that I like it on any real level, even when it gets to the killings. As much as I think these guys deserve it, as much as I think that, yeah, get them. Cut their dicks off. Yeah, like, you know, do it slow. I don't necessarily want to watch that either. I don't want to sit there and watch people get torn apart and cut up, and she does do these type of things. So all in all, this is a film series that I don't get. I don't get the appeal. It's like, alright, if you did it the one time, you did it. You saw what this could be. You told the story. But at this point, it's getting to be much. I'm getting a whole bunch of heebie-jeebie feels. Every time I watch this, I just get grossed out and creeped out. It's hard for me to sleep, and I don't like it. I don't. And it's not even that it's like, oh, the scariest movie of all time. I don't even mean it like that. I get disturbed, and I get upset in so many other ways. So overall, the film is what it is. I don't think it's better than the first movie. As much as I don't like the content itself, I do think the first movie was handled a bit better, maybe even acted a bit better. Maybe I liked the girl in the first movie a little better. Certain situations that I got behind maybe a little more with the remake. This one, it's fine. It's fine. It exists. It is what it is. I'm pretty grossed out, though, and so that's why I'm giving probably a piss poor review. The movie, just, yeah. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below if you too have seen I Spit on Your Grave 2. What did you think of it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it one of those movies, like I'm saying, that it's just hard to watch? It's hard to formulate a real concrete opinion on it because these movies are fucked up, if I'm being completely honest. I guess I'm going to watch 2 more of these. I don't know, though. If you don't see part 3 and part 4 in this list, don't be surprised, because maybe I just had enough. Maybe I couldn't get through them. Maybe I didn't want to get through them. We shall see. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later! Soul's taken over by a devilish path. You got me walking on broken glass. Kicking down the door with a Jason mask. With a deck dome machete, but you motherfuckers know it's heavy. Anytime you're ready, you can get you with a Bowie. Setting up to blow me, but the bitch don't know me. Who's going? I'm going. You know, I know that the man in the mirror is my next rival. Time goes and I never thought I'd live it so fast. Staring at the world from the end of my glass. Turned into a dark place, severed my brain. I done dropped out of class, but I